General Sharma, the Chinese deployment in Aksai Chin, 50,000 soldiers, missiles, tanks, longer runways, missile silos, UAV bases, trains, more roads. Is that defensive or is that preparing for an offensive? In your view, what's China's long-term game plan in Aksai Chin?
So, these are very difficult questions, and actually the best person to answer will be President Xi himself. But since you can't ask him a question, I think I'll make an endeavor. The fact of the matter is that there is no guarantee as to what's going to happen. But the way the Chinese are trying to fixate the line of actual control, or also establish the villages there and shift the population, probably this time is not right for him to undertake conventional operations. China, as the ambassador rightly pointed out, has got great internal woes. But then that cannot be guaranteed for a longer term perspective. By the time the 21st conference takes place or the 22nd conference takes place, this is another 10 odd years. President Xi has to cement his place into history. Now, he can't wait till 2049, which is what he has stated. 2049, he'll be 100 years old. So he has to actually achieve what he has to achieve in all fora and all issues in the course of next 5 to 10 years. So I don't know whether how much time we have, but I think there is a window for which we ought to prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario if it happens across the borders. The present situation actually demands us to keep a watch because these substantial forces, but we have to be prudent as to what's the quantum of force we require to place in each one of these sectors to counter the Chinese. We can't overdo ourselves. We can't do an overkill also, because the Chinese have got 50,000 people there.
So we can't do an overkill, but why are we rewarding him with so much business? And several commentators have written this, Ambassador Vishnu Prakash, that China amasses 50,000 troops on our borders and we give him more business than our defense budget.
Oh, absolutely. I think that is a chink in our armor. I think that, you know, if we were to really send out a message to China, we have to bite the bullet, which means that we have to bear the cost, because without bearing the cost, there is not going to be any pain to China. We'll have to tolerate pain ourselves, but, you know, the situation where we have $125 billion of trade with China and give them $70 billion surplus is untenable. I hope that through your channel, and it becomes a national mission, that we all step forward, boycott Chinese goods, and bring down the trades progressively, because unless you do that, a message will not go to China. We cannot continue having business as usual just because it is profitable for Indian companies and Indian consumers like me. I am also guilty as charged, but then we have to rise to the occasion and we have to put India first.
We do, but why aren't we doing this in your view, General Sharma? Because when 20 of our braves made the supreme sacrifice of their lives at Galwan, when Doklam happened before that, the Chinese design was very clear. China's not even hiding its intentions. You know, our veterans, our diplomats, we've been saying this from the rooftop. The writing is on the China wall that China is hostile to India. It will want to take over some of our territory, if not, you know, its palm and 5 fingers of Tibet. And yet, our pushback seems to be restricted to military deployment. Or are we doing something else, in your view, General Sharma?
Gaurav, the point of view is that the Chinese are the second largest economy, and as the way they're going, they will cross United States even in nominal GDP in some time to come. They are a manufacturing nation. The value chains have been established in a manner that it's very difficult to get out of the value chain mesh that has been created. For example, let's say you buy solar equipment, photovoltaic cells, etc. They are all being manufactured in China. You want to buy something from some other country also, the value chains will be in a manner that finally the Chinese producers or manufacturers will produce and supply to some other company, some other countries, and it gets meshed up together and comes to us. To de-link totally from a second largest economy, which is manufacturing based, and which is export based is not going to be easy. So while we say that we must reduce from $125 billion to something more, downscale it down, it's not going to be so simple. And we have to plan item by item. I think we should say, okay, for example, furniture. Why should we buy furniture from China, which we tend to buy such a large quantity? So we should say, okay, let's detach the items like furniture which we don't buy. Certain things we may not be able to get out of so easy, and we'll require a longer time perspective to create the manufacturing base or some other external suppliers for us.